Hello everyone. In this video I want to show you how you can create and host your own webinar in GetResponse. Stay tuned. Alright, so you just saw me in a webinar room, and let's now see how you can create one for yourself so that you can host your own webinars. So the first thing to do while you are at the dashboard is to go to Tools, and we will click on Webinars. Once you reach this page, the only thing that you have to do here as well is to click Create Webinar. And here is where everything starts. So we have to give our webinar a title. So this title your attendees or registrants, they will also see this title. So let's say getting started with e-commerce. And then we will go through the basic settings. All right, so as you can see, the webinar URL takes its own version of the title here. So based on the title, you are provided a URL, and this is the URL. You will then, later on, you can copy this URL and use it on a specific newsletter to invite people to your webinar. All right, so next we have date and time. So this is when the webinar will start, and the time here is based on your account settings. So if you're not sure, you can go to your profile here, you can go to manage account, and you will see the time zone in your account. Everything will be based on that. And here it is the duration of the webinar, so how long it will take. You can enable this toggle here to automatically record on start. So once you start the webinar, it will start recording automatically. And here is an interesting one, which is to create an on-demand webinar. So an on-demand webinar is simply, it will simply be your webinar, but it won't be live. So it's dedicated to those who cannot attend your webinar, but they still want the experience. So they will still watch it on demand, so when they can, at their own time. If you want to do that automatically, you would simply toggle this one as well, give a title, and then you would see on the on-demand webinar tab. Moving on, we have lobby, message, or agenda. So when people register to the webinar, and if it's not live yet, they will be taken to the lobby. And while on the lobby, they will then see your agenda. So anything that you write here, they will then see. I will copy the title, and then you can select the thank you page. This thank you page will be shown when you not exit the webinar, but when you end the webinar. So as the host, you will have the ability to just finish the webinar. And once you do, everyone that's still in the room will be redirected to the page that you select here. So it can be any of these options. We will leave it as default. And well, let's say that we are ready here. So save this step, and then we have registration and subscription settings. Here is the email address that will be used to send any reminder or registration confirmation, as you can see here. So you can select your own email address here that people will recognize. And here is where people will go. The ones that register to your webinar, they will be added to the list that you select right here. If you have any autoresponder configured, you should also toggle this on and select the day. And of course, well, this autoresponder has to be attached to the list that people will join. So based on the list that you select here, then you enable or don't enable the autoresponder here. If you want to send reminders, make sure that you enable the registration required as well, as it's a must in order for reminders to be sent. And here you can configure when you want to send the reminders, and you can select more than one, of course, and then apply. Then you can choose a template as well. Just keep in mind that you cannot edit this template. So everything here is auto-generated and based on the settings of your webinar and name of your webinar. And then you can select if you want to have password or not. Well, this would be most for cases if you are actually selling access to your webinar. You might want to have a password protected webinar, or if it's only for selected people. You can also add a consent field if you have already created one, and if you haven't, make sure to check the video on the top right. And now we are ready here, and we will simply click to create. Alright, so you will then see this message. The webinar is already created, and what I will do is to manage live webinars. I will not be sending an invite, as this button here will take you directly to our old newsletter editor, and I recommend that you go directly to email marketing and use our newest editor in order to send an invitation to people, and you only need to use this URL. So you will hyperlink a button or text with this URL, and people then will be able to register to your webinar. All right. So you can see that my webinar is right here. This is the access URL, and I want to join as a presenter so that I can prepare and explain to you the room. I'm joining right now. And well, this is the first thing that you will see. Most likely your browser will ask you for access, so make sure that you give the access here to not experience any trouble with, let's say, with image and video or audio in general. And well, as I gave access, I'm able to turn on the microphone here. You can also turn on the video. And well, let's now go through everything that you can do, starting here from the top. All right, so as you can see, the room is locked. It's not time yet for this webinar to run, although you can simply unlock it by going to the bottom left where my picture is here, and you would click on this button. So let me just drag this to the right so that you can see. You would simply click here to start the webinar, so this green one. All right, so you can turn this on here to start recording. So once you start the event, once you click on the green on the bottom left, you can start recording. And if you enable the option to start recording automatically at the beginning on the settings, this will be automatic, of course. Here you select the language of this specific room. So here you can see that the language indeed changes. You can turn on full screen, and here you will see the board. You can exit the event right here, and you can see the mobile access. There is an app called GR Webinars, and you can use it to access this event using this code right here. And well, now let's see what you can do here on the right side. As you can see, there is the camera. As we already saw, you can turn on the microphone and screen sharing right here. Of course, when you click on screen sharing, you will most likely, your browser will ask you for permissions as well. And here you have the settings. As you can see, microphone, voice auto detection, everything quite obvious here when you go through it. It's the most difficult part is to actually find the settings, and this is why we are going through them. And here you can find the view, basically when many people have their camera on the main screen here, you can define how it should appear. And well, if you want to change your avatar, just a little one here, you can just go here and select. As you can see, it changes. Let me go back to my original one. And well, next you have the chat right here. It's important always to keep an eye on the chat, and there are all the options here that you can see. You can disable it or enable, or perhaps you want to moderate a chat. So when you click to enable the moderation here, you will see that there is a new tab, meaning that when people click something, you will have to approve or disapprove their message. If you want other people to see, you will approve, and if you don't, you will simply disapprove it. If you want some notifications, you can also export the chat history. As you can see, there are many options here. What you need to know is where you can go to find them. And this is what we just did right here. So you can see that the chat options are here, and the other options regarding video, audio, your avatar can be found right here. Now let's go to the left side. And this is where you find the menu. All of these options here. And let's start with AV view. So this is the view right here that people will see. And you will be then able to select one or the other right here. This is the same option that we just saw on the other settings, the video settings that we saw. And well, moving on, you can upload a presentation. And in my example, when I was showing the intro, I had a Polish class presentation. And once it's uploaded, you can simply click on it, and other people will then be able to follow you through your presentation. While on the presentation, there are a few options here at the bottom, and well, the first one is for other people to be able to collaborate with you. So the other attendees in this webinar, they will then, if you turn this on, so when it's green, they will be able to draw on the screen, for example. If you don't want that, just disable. They can download, and you can download this presentation. You can also undo. Here you select a specific tool. So if we want the draw tool, you can simply do something here, and then you go to undo, and it just undoes. And well, let's just use the pointer here. And here you select, well, how the width of the drawing tool, of course. And well, you can then follow here through the other options. You can zoom in, zoom out, and if you click on the arrows, you can simply move to the next slide and previous slides. And once you are done with this presentation, you can simply click close right here. And now, well, screen sharing, self-explanatory here, and what I was showing right now during the presentation, it would be the equivalent to the whiteboard, so we will not go through it as the tools are exactly the same here at the bottom. Well, screen sharing, there are two options. You can display it in the browser, you can use the browser for screen sharing, or you can use an app. So if you click the app, this will download a specific app and you'll be able to use it to screen share. If you use the browser, most likely you will have to give permissions. You can then share a URL here for YouTube. So once you add the YouTube video here, the URL, this video will appear directly on your webinar. You can create a survey, and here you give your survey a name. And if you just want to gather opinions and feedback, you will use this one on the left, which we call a poll. And if you want to assign scores to specific answers, then you would use a test. And well, it's then self-explanatory. You will just start adding questions, and once you have the poll or test ready, you will then see here to select, and it will show to everybody. Moving on, you can enable the Q&A mode, and this is when people will be able to ask their questions. And you can show questions list right here, and it will appear on this side. You can make some specific ones that you want public. Moving on, you can have a call to action. So we will show you here quickly, just as an example, shopping with e-commerce. That's just an example for title, shop now, and let's say getresponse.com. And you don't need to add an image. This will simply add a little image below the text. Here you can select if you want for it to display for a limited time, or if you want it to display for unlimited time. Let's say 1 minute here. And once you click to create, after before that you can even change the colors and click create. Once you do, it will appear right here, and people who click to shop now, they will be, in this case, they will be taken to GetResponse's website. All right, so let's close this, and then you can do some streaming. A very important part here is that there are different modes in the webinar. You have presenter only, so this is more of a private mode, as it mentions here. It will not be recorded, as you can see, and only presenters can see and hear each other. And well, you then have the webinar mode, so up to 300 attendees, and everybody's muted and can be manually unmuted by the presenter. I didn't show you, but once you have someone joining the webinar, they will appear here where I am right now as an attendee, and you'll be able to turn on the microphone for them. So, and well, going further, you then have a meeting here, and it is up to 40 attendees. So everybody is unmuted and everyone can speak and hear each other. So you can clearly see the differences here. This, you have a presenter, and right here it's more for discussion. And well, once you decide which one you want to use, then just make sure then when you are using the whiteboard that you understand that collaboration is up to 25 attendees max. So if you have more, it won't work properly. Well, once you are ready with your webinar, so you have your presentation here and you are ready to run, you will simply click to start the event. And well, now the webinar started, and what happens here, as you can see, it's unlocked, it's recording, and you can also select here what you want to record exactly. All pods, presentation, and well, you will decide. And once you are ready with your webinar, so if you are done here, as this is just a test, you will simply click here to end the event. And well, end the event for all, or simply leave. If you are only a speaker at the event, you will simply leave. If you are the host, you will have to then end the event. All right, then you will see this message, but everyone else will be taken to the thank you page that you selected during the settings. And now let's see what you can do right here. So this webinar ended, and as you can see, the statistics are loading right here, but you can then check your invitation statistics if you use the option to send through the old editor, which I don't recommend. You should use the newest editor to send your invitations. You can also see who participated. You can also download the chat and the webinar statistics. Let me move myself back to the left so that you can properly see. So here you can download chat and webinar statistics. So I recommend that if you have quite a few people here, this will be very useful. And now, well, if you selected the on-demand webinar, it will then appear right here on this tab. And the recording will be here. You can then download this recording and send to someone via email, or simply create an on-demand webinar and send them the URL so that they can watch at their own time as well. And now let's see something. Let's say that you are sending reminders, but they are in the wrong language. So that can be quite tricky. And to showcase to you, I will actually create a new webinar very quickly. Select a list here just to showcase to you. So let's say it's the list chat prospects, and we have reminders enabled. Let's say now that your reminders are not going in English, and you want them to go in English, but they are going in your native language perhaps, if it is not English. And let's see how you can fix it. So the first thing to do is to go to the list. So it was chat prospects, to go to the settings and to check the language here. Make sure it is the language that you want the reminders to be sent. And if it was not, and you change the language here, simply go to the bottom, save general settings. And the trick with webinars is that you will have to change the list right here. So you will click here, taken to the settings, and on the registration, you would simply go select list B, save this step and save the webinar, and then go again. And this would then update the list language. So what this does is, in case my chat prospects list, if the language there was Portuguese, for example, and I want the reminders to be in English, the webinar, when it is created, it takes the original language from the list when you created the webinar. So if you made any update to the list after the webinar creation, it won't change. You have to select a different list on the webinar, save it, and then redo it and select the list that you want now that the language is fixed. And that will be fixed. I hope that you found this video helpful. and I will see you in the next one.